You have been warned.
You have been warned. My son is full of equal amounts of frustration and hilarity.
That's not just his challenges. That's all part of growing up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, his autism affects him. Obviously, it's difficult for him, but he has an acute wit. He's very very funny, very funny. Yeah, it's a journey. There's no doubt about that. One of the things I was sent here to learn about, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Come on in, everybody. We see you out there. We know you're there. We're glad you're there. Genuine Comics Dave's in the house and up early this morning. I'm here to watch Watchmen watch how men made Watchmen. There we are.
No ladies allowed.
Oh, we get closed down now.
Oh no!
It's too early in the morning to wrap my head around that one.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you got to say that really quickly when you're drunk.
I don't.
So that's going to become a. That's a comic convention drinking game.
I said similar to my granddaughter last year. She's really into Harry Potter, and she's 7. And she was. It was around Christmas, and she was giving us all these details. We had to join. I don't know Harry Potter. We had to join Hogwarts and play this game with her and all this kind of thing. And she's going on about these witches, but I wasn't allowed to join for 3 days because I was a boy, and all this kind of stuff was going on, all this political stuff. She's 7, right? Yeah. So I said, Holly, I'm confused. And she said, what's wrong? I said, well, I don't know which witch is which. And she sort of
does not compute.
Yeah.
Took a second. Yeah. Watchmen, folks. We're here for Watchmen.
Yes.
It's Comics by Night. Running the opening, then we'll get right to it. Might run the longer opening this morning because I feel like the Clint Eastwood. Get off my lawn.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
Exactly how I feel this morning.
That's how I feel every morning.
Come on in, folks. Dave's in the house. There are a few other ones of you up early enough to enjoy this. We're here for Watchmen 10. I should say enjoy this live. So the chat is open. We hope you'll engage.
That Mr. Smiley face again.
It is right there on the cover. In the first panel. It's
Smiley face.
It's an ongoing theme with this book.
Smiley face.
Another pause again while we're just drinking this wonderful
at the great art here. Yep.
Look at that.
It's amazing stuff. So that's why we've been taking our time going through this work. Such a touchstone work.
Lovely rendering of the metal there on the underside of the of the plane.
Yeah,
just all of it. It's just lovely.
I have a feeling
if you get the color one, Randy, I've got the trade paperback thing.
Yep, and I should note we are using the annotated Watchmen for this. Watchmen annotated. Available at on Amazon probably. I got it at Ollie's for $13.
Boom.
Just to rub that in.
The color for a change, Mr. Higgins. I don't like the coloring on the, especially the panel with the guys on the microphone on page 2. It's a bit dark in my edition. It might be a printing thing though.
depending upon what copy you've got.
Yeah.
It is. Look at that. All that details
Yeah.
walked off. Solid here.
But nice lighting on the middle panel.
Yeah.
Yep. Two writers were approaching. Yep. No whiskey yet this morning. Don't know where he is. So
we said before, I just love the way that he Gibbons starts the comic on the cover, literally, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's always an extension. Really good.
it's a great motif. I don't think anybody's ever tried to imitate.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd either fail miserably or just be accused of copying.
Yeah. It's so there's nothing more to add to that. You're exactly right there.
My original has seen a little water damage. Somehow probably spilled. Well, I didn't spill coffee on it, or it would have stained. So.
It's previously loved.
Yes, it's very loved.
Yeah.
That's what comics should be, loved.
I'll show you mine later. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Giggity.
It's all smashed to pieces. It's all smashed to pieces. It's really been used. Really been. I'll have to stop. I'll just shut up.
Sorry, I don't have the little video clip that Luke has. That's what she said.
That's what she said. It's been smashed up. Oh dear.
Start again.
It's President Nixon.
Yeah.
White haired.
Is it his 5th term or something at this point?
Yeah.
Look at that guy there sat in front of him, the pilot. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Here?
The one on the left. Sat directly in front of Nixon with
panel 4.
Yeah, panel 4, yeah. Just the shading on him there.
Yeah, it's
very really good. Yeah.
Just amazing. Nice aerial shot here.
I like that one, the bottom left panel 7, where they're in those little carts going into the tunnel. The lights on the. It's like a ride. It's like one of those rides at a circus, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like Space Mountain before they did it. Yeah.
Colored very, very simply. Didn't need much. So.
Well, it just needs a yellow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it yet. Hold on. Oh yeah, I was right. It was yellow. Excellent.
Look at that picture of Nixon on the next panel with on that page at the bottom. At the bottom, if you look at the artwork, because the colouring muddies it, it looks like Rorschach, that nose, doesn't it?
Yeah,
a little stubby nose.
Yeah, because Nixon,
especially after the last few issues we've gone through. With him.
And because Nixon didn't have a stubby nose, did he?
Oh yeah, he did.
He had a weird nose.
I wouldn't call it stubby.
I would have drawn it bigger than that, but he's got the flatness. He's got the flatness underneath it. Yeah.
Bit of a knobby nose.
But the one thing you can say about the whole book is how consistent his faces are.
Yeah.
His characterization of all the different characters. I mean, you can say here that maybe he didn't quite catch Nixon, but he does look the same in every panel. You know who it is.
Yeah.
So his characterization is excellent.
Yeah.
And that's tough, keeping people looking the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the more impressionist your art, the easier it becomes as far as keeping faces similar.
Yeah.
But the more detail you put in, and the more sort of pseudo-realistic, because none of it's realistic, but the more pseudo-realism you add in, the harder it becomes to keep faces on model.
Mm-hmm.
Because effectively you're It's one thing to go and look at photo reference of faces so that you can get a good idea about how faces work. But if you're creating a character and they have a particular kind of face and a particular look, you've got to hold that in its full three-dimensionality in your brain. And that's why I warn against using 3D models too much. Not at all, just too much. Because you need practice at holding these things in your brain so that you can get them down on paper well.
Yeah. Wonderful line weight and camera positioning here. That's showing
Lovely.
that he is wired up to the football, the nuclear football.
The nuclear football.
Chained up.
That's,
That's what they call it.
that's great. It's funny.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever kick the football in American football?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do. They kick it through the posts.
Oh yeah, but
goal.
I mean, during the game, do they just?
No,
get
I don't. They just
Yeah,
hold
you
it.
can. They punt it whenever they're too far
Right.
away from the goalpost.
So you know when they're all colliding with each other and they give it the guy at the back. Is he the quarterback? The one
Yeah.
who throws it 100 yards to the guy running through.
That's the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't watch a huge amount of it, but can you score from a punt? So literally, if you're running with the ball and it's out in free play, can you kick it to the posts?
No.
Right. Okay. You can't do that. Okay.
No,
so you have to run it to the post.
Yeah, you can pass it around like a hot potato, though, as long as you're passing behind you.
Yes.
Oh, so you have to throw it backwards.
Yeah,
that's like
once
rugby.
you're in motion. Yeah,
That's like rugby.
Yeah.
that's why you see the quarterback gets the ball, takes a couple of steps back, and freezes.
Right. So he
Unless
throws
he's going to
it
run
forward.
with the ball. Yeah.
So he's allowed to throw it forward.
Yes.
But once that initial forward pass from the quarterback has happened, it can only be handled to another player backwards
Or lateral.
or lateral,
Straight or
okay.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can a player receive a forward pass from the quarterback and then somehow get it back to him to begin the forward pass again?
No.
Does that make
No,
sense?
I think the quarterback's play is one and done.
Because
Right.
whoever catches that ball wants to turn around and run it through the goal line.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in rugby, you can if you're sort of close enough to the posts, you can kick for the posts.
Yeah. And then
and
just
and
jump
have
on
a
it,
field goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can either kick it forward and you can run onto it and cause a ruck or a scrum or whatever happens from there, or you can if you think that you can manage it, you can kick for the posts and get like a couple of points. I don't know what the points are now. It used to be like 2 points and then 3 points, or 2 points for a conversion. So after you made a try, you kicked from the lateral point of where you made the try behind the try line to the posts to convert for 2 points. I think it used to be 4 and 2 points, and for a field goal. So, for instance, if you were out in play and you just punted it and you got it through the post, that was 3 points. But I'm not up on it anymore. I don't know.
This is why I play football. You see, it's much simpler than all.
Yeah, but you really get to hit people hard in rugby.
Listen. You should. When I was 16, I was playing against players who were 25 and had big beards, and they took great pride in telling me how old they were just before they kicked me 3 foot in the air.
I used to play when I played for Southend Men's when I shouldn't have done. That was quite fun, but I was a big boy, so I did all right. But I did enjoy rugby when I was younger. It was a good chance to jump up and down on people. It was great.
Anyway,
got to get your aggressions out somehow.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's Kissinger at the bottom panel. Is that Liddy behind him? Smoking.
It might be older, yeah. That would be older Liddy.
Yeah.
It's definitely Kissinger, though. Not sure who this guy is in the corner.
he's still here, isn't he, Kissinger?
Is that? Yes, he is. He's
Yeah.
like 98, isn't he? Is that guy? Is it Haig, Randy,
Maybe. I don't know.
or Ford?
Yeah.
One of those guys.
Perfect example of this whole sort of idea of impressionism and comic book artwork. And you look at these panels and they look divine, like they look really tight, okay? But then you look at that bottom panel, okay, and have a look at the way that he's rendered the leather on the chair.
Yeah.
Down the side, just how casual that is.
Yeah.
And it's understanding that,
great brush feathering there.
Yeah, and that took me a long time to appreciate and understand.
Yeah.
And that's about economy of line and about and just about really good composition.
Yeah.
That it isn't about how good your lines are, as in they must be the perfect line and they must be in the perfect place. It's just about how representational they are and how they work. And so it ends up that because of the way that he inks and the way that he draws, you look at a panel and think, bloody hell, that's perfect.
Well,
but then you have a good look and it isn't, and the imperfections are what makes it great.
He's made the texture of the chair different from his jacket, hasn't he?
As you should. You should.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's aware of that. And it's
exactly
because obviously it's cloth and leather, like you say.
It's just the fact that it's so casual.
Yeah,
those lines are just so
and
loose.
It probably was too. It was probably just a bunch
They're
of
just so loose and beautiful.
Brush.
And actually, if you look in closer, if you see the artwork at full size, I'm sure, if you look in closer, you'll see so much more of that happening. And you don't see that happening when you pass over it the first time or the first few times.
Well, everything looks better reduced. Anyway. The farther away from it.
Oh yeah, well that's why they do it, obviously. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's so easy for artists and creators to get caught up on how perfect line work looks
when it doesn't.
But actually, when it doesn't have to look perfect, when it isn't perfect, it just looks that way.
The greatest example of what you're saying there, Russ, was a few issues back when Manhattan's on Mars, when he's sitting down on Mars looking at the stars. If you look at that drawing and look at the feet aren't rendered at all.
No, it's just blobs. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Yeah, and there's so many shortcuts, and it's knowing how the shortcuts work so that the mind will fill in.
Exactly, you said that over the course of this. Your mind fills in the gaps.
Yeah, no, and again, look at that beautiful water work.
All of that great line work.
Yeah.
Just look at that side view of Rorschach at the top, and just flick back and look at that Nixon as to what I was saying.
It is similar. Yeah.
It's his nose, isn't it? Look at his
nose is similar.
And see, it's like an old Rorschach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never noticed that before. Yeah. Again,
I love the way he
example of inking there.
Yeah. I love the way he makes those backgrounds just so light touch.
Yeah,
and they counteract from how heavy and how lush the foregrounds are. So what he's done there with the water and the post is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And the color doesn't ruin it.
No.
I mean, we've been very harsh on poor John.
Doesn't override it at all.
No, because he's, he did a fantastic job. We just have to keep underpinning that. There is no way that we're putting down what the colours are. It's just an appreciation of the black and white.
And the crazy thing, the crazy thing at this point too, is that everybody's behind.
Yeah. Well, we said him with it. John Higgins he really is a good colorist, but he's also a good artist, isn't he?
He is. He's a fabulous artist. Yeah. He's truly an all-rounder. He knows what he's doing, and a thoroughly nice bloke.
I've never met him.
I've met him just once, and he was he's very, very generous with his time and complimentary. He's a lovely fella, and very approachable and human. He was great. Really, really liked him.
Not much of an ego going on.
No, not that I could tell.
Comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
It's much better in black and white, though, isn't it?
I mean, that's with
all of this really shines. Yeah,
I think it comes down to personal opinion. I really like black and white work. Yeah. Just it's a thing, and when it's so strong, I mean, so much artwork these days is done with the color in mind. Which is why it's so black and white, which is it's such a dichotomy, because if your colorist does not understand anatomy, it doesn't matter how many graduations or flares you put on, and you only put in minimal line work, it's going to look bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas if you put minimal line work down, and your colorist is an artist, they know what they're doing, as well as just coloring your lines, it can be amazing, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So but black and white artwork like this doesn't rely on the color. And this is the kind of artwork that I love.
And that's why
I'm getting Steranko vibes from that middle panel where he's climbing down the ladder.
Yes.
And I think it's just because he's got thin trousers on.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just kind of got a bit of a Steranko vibe from that, but very much the extreme light going on there as well.
I think just on the colouring, that's why so many of Marvel's covers were so good, because Marie Severin used to colour them, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she's fantastic, as we know.
Yeah.
Yep. Super accomplished artist, really knew what she was doing, and had been doing it for years, by the way.
Yeah. Women in comics,
and it ran in the family, didn't it? Because John Severin was pretty good at drawing, wasn't he?
Yep. Fantastic exchange here.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we've got little time to figure out who's doing this. I mean, neutralizing John, framing you. This is Daniel talking to Rorschach. We're talking somebody major. It says, yes, all accomplished so easily. A lesson in vulnerability. Must be more careful in future. And then here we've got this great shot of Daniel looking defeated. Almost future. What future?
Yeah.
Says that's my whole point. We're looking at World War III within the week. I mean, what do we do? The stakes are so high and humanity is so close to the edge. And here they're Rorschach's climbing down the building here. Some of us have always lived on the edge, Daniel. It is possible to survive there if you observe the rules. Just hang on by fingernails. Never look down.
That last panel is it's the same pose as when he goes into the comedians.
From the first issue. Yeah, very much so.
And there he is hanging on by his fingernails, going through the window. Hang on by your fingernails, and he is doing.
Just amazing symmetry there.
You know those. You know, in that bottom tier, middle section. See the water tower. Next to your finger, the water tower at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever saw, as far as I can remember, a water tower was in a Steve Ditko Spider-Man, and I didn't know what they were. You know, not being American, I didn't know what they were. And he used to draw the rooftops all the time with those water towers on. And I always noticed water towers because of Steve Ditko. When I went to New York, all I could see was water towers everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things you see as a kid.
Yeah.
And then when you start replicating and drawing, you start putting them in yourself, but you haven't got a clue what they are.
Yeah.
It's remarkable how you can tell Rorschach is climbing down the ladder instead of up. Yeah.
And also look at him on the touching his weight on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going up the ladder. And then he follows him.
Aren't they going up the fire escape?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It looks like he's coming down now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they end up on top of the building. They're down an alley there, and they're up on the top of the building.
And again, here, I thought that was a look of despair. He's actually looking at Rorschach as he's climbing up that ladder.
Yeah. He's
like,
talking to him, like, what's going on? It is quite despairing. But yeah, there's lots of transferences of weight there that are really good.
And suddenly a lot of graffiti.
Detail back here. Yeah.
What's the graffiti?
And I've just noticed something. Look above the middle panel to the left panel. There's goggles. It looks like goggles on the post coming out of the water. It looks like the owl, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little.
Like it's looking at you again. It's got these little things watching you all the time, like the blimps are on there again.
Here.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the blimps here.
Big Brother's watching you.
Always.
Always watching.
Great touch there on that last panel where the wind is blowing the curtains in when he comes in.
Movement, lovely.
I think that ties back to the first issue as well.
I love details like that in comics because it gives it a feeling of life.
Yeah.
So many comics are drawn so statically.
I think this should have been a good animated film as well, if they'd have done the artwork like this.
Oh, absolutely. I always thought that this should have been a 12-episode series on like an HBO or streaming service.
To be honest, they could have done the old sort of Marvel treatment on it. And just had the panels and had a really good voiceover and music.
They did. They do have a motion comic of this out.
Do they?
All right. It's the same narrator all the way through too.
Oh no, that's unfortunately with comics, it's because it's always about money. It's always about budgets and whether you're going to get a return on it, and that's just the way it is. But it would be lovely to see some comics properly, sort of almost like a radio show, given proper voices and what have you, and then just slightly animate the panels.
Like those early Marvel cartoons.
Yeah, like that. And I just think that would be really good. I'd watch loads of those.
Yep.
And it would be almost like it would be the equivalent of an audio book.
Yeah.
Because it's a comic.
Right. Animated radio play, really.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. It'll never take off because it'll be too entertaining.
That's what those early Marvel cartoons are about, and they still have a big level of charm.
Oh God, yeah, I love them.
They just adapt the comic with a little bit of flash style animation, take a little something and move it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is it's so much easier to do that now as well than it was back then. So why not? But nobody seems to want to put the effort in anymore. So
no,
on the big side, that is.
No, I think it's like this. I think they sit in a room and say, "How much money can we make out of this?" Instead of "How good can we make this?"
Oh, that's exactly what it is. It's always how much. Oh, that's not enough. Not that it would make money. It's always how much money, and it's just the nature of entertainment now. Corporatized entertainment.
Yep,
that's why comics are so important.
I mean, fancy being proud that your staff had never read a comic.
Yeah.
It's like exactly.
You're going in for an operation, and you should be pleased to know that none of the doctors have ever performed this before.
Yeah,
exactly.
They've never checked the notes of the people that know what they're doing. They're just doing it on for the first time themselves because they know what they're doing. Don't worry.
So they know better. Yeah.
They know better.
He's back to reclaim his costume. Good cops didn't find it. Exactly what personal effects were you looking for? Spare clothes, spare face. Final draft of journal. Police only found rough notes.
Spare face.
Gloves, hat, shoes. That's everything.
Isn't that amazing? That middle section there when he's going to do something to that woman, isn't it? Because of the lies she said, and he sees the kid, and he obviously sees himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The kid's scared like he was, and he's not going to. That shows you his humanity. That he's not going to do to that kid what happened to him, and that shows you the compassion that character has, even though he's supposed to be a nutcase. He knows he's not going to hurt. He doesn't want to hurt that child. He wants to hurt the woman because she hurt him, but he doesn't want to hurt the child because he sees himself there.
Morning, Whiskey.
Good morning.
Whiskey, we're just about wrapping up. Thanks for coming on. Where have you been, man?
Sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Bloody younglings. What's wrong with them?
5:30. What's wrong with you?
What's sleep?
Yeah, pretty much. Randy's got it right there. What's sleep?
Dave's in the house. Glad you're here, Dave. Everybody else, come on in. Chat's open. Whiskey is here. You only missed a couple of pages.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh no! Oh, no!
no.
It's
Terrifying.
Mr. Pimpernel.
The surprise
God.
face there. Hey.
I heard you guys were going over Watchmen.
How much
Yeah.
did you pay for that facelift, Rosamar?
You mean the corrections I had made?
The correction. I love the fact that it's being kept on with tape.
Yeah. The
Seen enough.
trials and tribulations of makeshifting something in a few minutes.
Seen enough painters tape to last me for a while.
Humor doesn't wait for any man.
Oh no.
Brilliant.
I have to keep that. He's my face.
People who have hair don't appreciate just how useful it is being able to stick things to the top of your head.
Oh, I know. I mean,
There you
I go
go.
anywhere from tape to suction cups to everything.
Sucks.
Yeah. Watchmen
So I've
10.
been-
Scott, Watchmen 10.
Is this a final issue of Watchmen, or is that they go to 12?
Oh, no. 2 more after this, yeah.
Oh. Boy, I know you guys are probably going over the stuff already, but boy, do I remember just being blown away by this series when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Could not believe what I was reading. Though around issues 8 or 9, I think maybe, it kind of got off track for a while. You know, he started going over all that thing about the sailors on that ship and all that, and
Oh, it's all symmetry. He was driving his points home with the Tales of the Black Freighter. The starkness of it, the roughness, the savagery of it.
what at the time I kept thinking, boy, I think Alan Moore's doing something besides writing comics. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
That's why we're here 20, 30, 40 years later looking at it.
Yeah. You have to pardon me. I'm getting over just the tail end of a cold, which I got from Capital City Comics in Lansing.
So you've come on to Comforters, have you?
I'm This is my call to know. Yes.
Only people from the north of England can be that dismissive. It's brilliant.
Well, I'm glad it's worth dismissing.
Yeah, at least
There you go.
It's a combination of the English language and the north of this country.
Yeah.
Now, is this the left-hand page? That guy in the lower left corner, is that Rorschach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
That's probably the handsomest he's looked in the whole book, though. I would say.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
And most of the time, he just kind of looks bad shit insane.
Yeah.
Yes. That middle panel on the right-hand side, the wide panel, is just wow.
Yeah, the staircase.
Yeah.
Let's pick the most awkward angle we can find.
And
draw it.
And put the most maddening pattern on the walls.
Yeah.
Straight lines. Let's do inverted pyramids. Oh yeah, sure, that's good.
And like all the stuff he's done here. I mean, when you're penciling on a computer, it's easy to go, oh, I'm just going to flat that panel, and then I'll just twist it and put it into the place it should be, because it's like you can do 3D and what have you. But he did this all manually.
Yeah.
Oh
He
yeah.
had to work this out manually. So.
If you look at those inverted pyramids on that design, it's a W for Watchmen.
Oh yeah. It goes through, doesn't it? It's a line.
Yeah.
Is that dome in the bottom? Like, if you look at the staircase in the bottom left section of the staircase, is that the dome of the city that we looked at before?
Here? No, that's lighting.
That's lighting?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
it's
over
lighting.
we're over at Ozymandias's headquarters up in the up in the Arctic.
It's just a light.
Yeah. Set up window there for the TV. No, those are the TV screens.
I thought if you look at the right of it too, I thought that was the city. Like, if you look on the left and right, they're coming up, and that's the city view behind the staircase.
No.
Back here? No. That's just part of the pattern. It's all in
And below the staircase
Yeah.
onto the right. Those
No,
are just crates or or
Yeah.
If you look
Oh,
at
okay.
if you look at the guys at the top of the
Please.
steps in that panel, look what's behind their head. See it?
which panel?
Yeah.
The center panel.
It
Yeah.
looks
We're
like an
talking.
obelisk.
It's the monolith, isn't it?
It looks like a
2001.
monolith.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I see.
Back here. Yeah.
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 Does look like a monolith.
And you see the whole color tone has changed too. Shifted from a lot of earth tones to a lot more bright primaries
Wow.
as well.
Man.
Woohoo.
Because the scene shifted.
No, Dave Gibbons was just amazing on this book. I mean, this is
Oh yeah.
if he hadn't already, this would have made his bones. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. Just phenomenal. It was Dave Gibbons, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
you're
think actually he's not. Yeah, he's probably. I would say this is what he's best known for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh,
But-
yeah, definitely. Let's
but
put
I-
it now.
He's for me. It was all his work on 2000 AD,
Yeah. Road
And-
Trooper and Harlem
and-
Heroes.
and then the original Doctor Who magazine.
Oh
when
yeah.
it was a comic, and he did Tom Baker,
A lot of the
the
Tom Bakers,
Iron
yeah.
Legion or whatever it was,
Yep.
and
Oh,
that was just superb stuff, just absolutely brilliant.
Marvel
Yeah,
actually reprinted
didn't he-
those books. Yeah.
Didn't he do Absalom Dak as well, or Absalom Dark, or whatever it
I
is?
think he did. Yeah.
The Dalek
Some of it
Hunter.
he did. The
Yeah.
Absent deck I've got is I wanted to say Finley, but might not be right. It's a lot more grungier. It's not as solid
Right.
as this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the character in general. He's kind of
Yeah.
roughneck.
But the way that's what I was saying to you when we first started is that this seems to be his cleanest work.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
look at Harlem Heroes or the Tom Baker Doctor Who stuff, or there was some other bits and pieces, but similar stuff. It's kind of got this sort of gritty feel to it.
Yeah.
Gritty, grungy feel, but at the same time being obviously the line work is beautiful, but this line work is like it's immaculate. Do you know what I mean? It's that's why saying earlier in this episode where I was talking about those casual lines and seeing those in there is kind of almost surprising until you look deeper and see them. But this is definitely a progression from that other work that he did. But for me, he's pretty much it's 2000 AD. I remember him from mostly, but most people would probably pick this out as his triumph, which they'd be right about. You know, it is amazing. But I do love that old work from 2000 AD.
I can't help but wonder if maybe faced with Moore's script, and I don't know if Moore did panel descriptions or
Probably.
Incredibly detailed panel descriptions.
Yeah, I imagine faced with that, Gibbons said, "I don't have any room to muck around here."
You may be right. Yeah, and may have affected the way that he drew.
Yeah,
not just what he did composition wise, but literally the way that he drew.
Stepped up.
Yeah, and I think that was part of Moore's game plan to construct a series that played off of the classic look of a comic book, but with this far a much greater advanced storyline and plot.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get much more meta than Alan Moore, could you?
Oh my God.
I think it shows what a professional Dave Gibbons is, because he's with this full script from Alan Moore and then all the other stuff you were talking about that he did. It shows the challenge and the discipline that he has.
Oh,
you know, he welcomes a challenge and he's got the discipline to produce I think the best work of his career so far. Yeah. And like Scott said, it's not. It might seem, or you can understand why somebody would think that the script wouldn't give him allow him much room to, flex his skills. But that's the challenge and the discipline.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Yeah. We want this. We want you to draw this. So draw it.
Yeah. As a comic book artist, you can sit back and go, well, I quite like the Stan Lee method, or no, I'd quite like to be guided through. But whichever methods you prefer, whichever ones happen to turn up with whoever's writing the book that you're drawing on, it's down to you to make sure it works.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just because a writer's, you can't use an excuse. You can't say, oh well, I had the Stan Lee method, so I got away with this, or oh well, the writer insisted on every panel being described, so I couldn't quite match up. It's like, no, there is no excuse. And that's perfect looking at this.
Yeah.
See, there's no excuse.
There's his thumbnail for that page.
Yep.
Just lines here.
Good Lord, but still.
Very quickly done.
Wow.
Who was the one that did all the thumbnails?
Dave Gibbons.
Was that
Gibbons
him?
did all, okay.
Yeah.
He does it from the script. He works it from the script, and then he does that. When you squint and look at it to get all the blacks in, and if you show it again, Randy, you'll see what he's doing with it. Yeah, to spot the blacks on it, and then I don't know whether he blows it up and does it on a light box or not, but then he draws it. But it's also interesting to see. You can see how he's working because he's put the word balloons on the thumbnails as well.
Oh yeah,
the placement.
All the dialogue's already done. He gets full scripts. Yeah.
I wonder how demanding Moore was, because I've been led to believe that when it comes to producing comics to his scripts, he can be kind of militant about it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, every script was a small book.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where
pages upon pages of description here.
I think it's like Stanley Kubrick. He knows what he wants.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He knows what he wants.
This is a sample. This is the issue 1.
Oh, right.
Script. This is panel 1, right there.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of descriptions that he was working off of.
I think it's a great insight to the way Dave works as well, that he's highlighted the main parts. Because if you look at the beginning of that page again, he's talking to him as a friend type of thing. He said, I think he says, "Right, I'm psyched up."
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with what's going on. And Dave so imagine the time that Dave would get the script and read through it probably a couple of times and then go back and work out what he's actually wanting. And then doing those thumbnails and then rendering the finished pages.
Jesus.
It's hard enough reading through a script as it is as an artist. You force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
And you must do it a couple of times before you start. It's hard enough as it is without it actually being interspersed with personal communication as well.
Exactly.
All right, I'm psyched up. I've got blood up to my elbows, veins in my teeth, and my helmet and knee pads sorely fastened. Let's get out there and make trouble.
That's just from his black magic.
Yeah. This first page is a series of vertical jumps that take us up into the straight progression from a minute and microscopic detailed view of the gutters of New York up to a panoramic shot looking down upon the rooftops of this familiar and yet curiously altered cityscape.
Jesus.
In this first panel, we're looking straight down at a great opening in a perfectly ordinary gutter. To the right of the picture, the active outer wall of the curb drops down away from us like a miniature cliff.
Jeez.
Over more towards the left, down at the bottom of the picture, we can see the old and worn metal of the drain over the solid something visible between the slats.
Jesus Christ.
Up at the top of the picture, we can just see the dirty gutter. Oh, something down towards the mouth of the drain. You get the idea. Anyway,
that's for the very first
that's
panel.
Panel 1, page 1, and just keeps going in that kind of narration. And it's all hand typed.
Yeah.
And it's not that good of a typewriter either.
That'd be arduous.
It's all very uneven on the page. If you see that.
I mean, it must have cost a fortune to produce this book as well, because I remember reading in that Gibbons book that he would, they were always behind on the deadline. And he'd ring Alan up and he'd say, "Well, I've got half the book." And he'd say, "Well, send it to me." So they send it in a taxi and it cost £50,
Oh,
just to get, so he could get it in the hour, It must have cost a fortune. I wonder if DC were paying for that.
Oh my God. I wonder how much of a conference they had before they started, so Dave understood exactly what he was getting into.
Oh, it's in my the script is in minute detail anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I don't know how much they knew each other. How much Dave and Alan?
Oh yeah, they knew each other quite well working on 2000 AD.
Oh, okay. So, wow, amazing. Can we turn the page now? Just
No, we're
Oh,
just
no.
gonna sit here for a minute. Yeah.
God bloody hell, he turns up.
Yeah, it's Jim Randy. Sorry, Scott. Are we
Well, I don't
boring?
have a page in my. I can't do it myself physically, so I'm reliant on Randy's good graces to satisfy my.
We just got through the first panel. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we went back to the first panel on the first page. Actually,
Yeah.
the
It
first
was-
issue. Yeah.
It's like
Go
it
back
takes
10
us.
weeks.
It takes us an hour and a half to get through an issue. So you
Oh,
know.
okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Well, look, there I am on the second page, middle panel. So to the
Yes,
left.
I can see it. Yeah.
What is she eating on that screen?
I think it's a chocolate bar.
All right.
The way it's coloured, anyway.
That picture of that looks like Nixon down the bottom in the bottom panel
Yeah.
on the left hand screen.
Yeah.
That's actually a better rendition.
Oh,
of
it does,
Nixon.
yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Down here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a better
bottom.
rendition of him. So,
Yeah, it does look like him.
and that so looks like underwater on that panel on the right hand side.
It
That's
does,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Brilliant. And the fish on the again a double panel where he splits the panel into two.
Yeah.
Above it, that's just fantastic.
No, at the top panel, left page, at the bottom of the panel, are those all just flowers lining
Yep.
the?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
like
The roses.
poppies
I
or
think.
roses or yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Not rosemers. Roses.
Well, I thought I had a place in history, but damn it, I guess I don't. Thanks for busting that bubble, Glenn.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for.
I knew I'd made it.
They're all underwater here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't
A few
it?
fishes like the dirigibles passing by.
Oh yeah, that bottom right panel, that is just awesome. Yeah. That's just
Tire.
yeah, a little bottle and submerged barrels.
Yeah. Let's see how it went from the roughs.
Jeez. Wasn't there something about Rorschach's mask that it supposedly always contained some kind of meanings to it or symbolisms?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of his, it tells his, you can always read him if you know what the blots mean on his face.
Wow. I just thought he was the most phenomenal character. Calling a guy Rorschach and based on the Rorschach test. And oh my God, just probably one of the truly great fictional comic book characters in the last 70 years.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a natural, it's like a polar opposite of the character that it's based off of, the Question, that has nothing on his face.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
He's just bare. So.
Oh, did Moore purposely want to draw a parallel?
He was told to recreate all of the Charlton characters because he originally submitted this as the Charlton Pantheon.
Oh,
right after DC had bought all the Charlton characters, and he submitted Watchmen to Giordano. Giordano said, using the Charlton characters, Giordano said, "Hey, it's a great story. We want the story, but when the story's done, we can't use any of the characters again. So why don't you create new characters for it?" And it just added to the symmetry. He was able to go through and enhance all of these because they're one for one. They're all Charlton characters.
Oh yeah,
I think it's fantastic the way that we know the story, what you're saying there, Randy, and it's obviously a true one. But I just think it's great the way that it maybe Moore was disappointed for 5 minutes, so he decided to come up with better characters than he was going to use in the first place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, left his own devices.
Yeah.
Especially characters that fit the story, that fit his objective.
And I always enjoyed the fact that they were so right on the money in the recreations. Like Ozymandias or
Yeah.
Ozymandias, yeah.
Ozymandias, his pet cat there with the long ears, the long horns. They just did a phenomenal job portraying him in the film that they did.
Yes.
Just love that look.
The film is amazing, I think. The
Oh,
film
it really
is as good as the book.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, and I don't think
even with the altered ending.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because frankly, I can understand they had to make it a little more palpable for a general audience. I just don't think they could have gone with Moore's original.
Also, cutting out things like the Black Freighter and the octopus monster and stuff like that. I think they were genuine production restrictions. You can't fit everything in. So what do you take out?
Yeah,
and those are the things you could take out without disturbing the story too much.
Yeah, like I said, it's absolutely genius on Snyder's part that there's that much of the 12 issues in the movie.
Yeah,
just amazing.
It shows you how to really do it. I mean, it still amazes me. It's like I saw a video the other day saying, "Was Watchmen really that bad?" It's like, well, I don't know what you were watching. What did you want?
Oh
yeah.
What did you? I read comics. I've been reading comics since I was a kid. Literally a long Like we've all been reading comics a long time, okay?
Yeah.
And I just thought that film was fabulous. I thought it was great. It's like
I had the best time watching it because after having read the series, I kept thinking they covered all of the main points of the book of all 12 issues.
And visually it was so beautiful as well. And it's like God. I got that on DVD as soon as I could. And I continue to watch it whenever I can. And it's like it's so easy to like trash films, okay?
Yeah.
It's so easy to trash films, especially comic book films, because you can be too purist about it. And
well, the audience is...
the whole MCU, you got to remember, the MCU was built about servicing normies, not about servicing, rabid fans. Rabid fans like me would be happy just to see our characters on the screen. Yeah. But it got to a point now where, Marvel, the MCU is just absolute tripe. Okay. Yeah. After Endgame, it fell off a cliff.
Yep.
For lots of different reasons. But up until then, it's like I kind of use Nolan's Batman as an example. Nolan's Batman was 007 in a bat suit. But it's okay because it was a great version of Batman and it had the essence of Batman in it. So they were perfectly serviceable, brilliant films. They were great fun. I loved them all. They were not. None of them were Batman in the comics. I think the closest we've come to Batman in the comics visually would be Batflick in Batman versus Superman, where he beat all those thugs up in the tenement building.
Yeah,
he was rescuing Martha. That visually, that's about as good as you're going to get from Batman. I think. Yeah. And actually, from a comic perspective, Batman '89 for me is as close to a sort of like somewhere between camp, somewhere between detectives, somewhere between superhero, which Batman isn't because he's not super endowed. But it's just he that caught everything for me, and it's very difficult to catch that on screen, and it's really harsh to people can be very harsh about films. That said, films at the moment are all pretty much tripe.
Well, I'll say this in terms of the MCU, as soon as I saw the two scenes in Captain America Winter Soldier where he fights in the elevator, jumps out of the elevator, survives a 12th story drop, and then gets on his bike and defeats that jet on the bridge. Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's real.
God.
That elevator scene,
America, pure.
Yeah, that elevator scene's pure Kirby, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's, you can just imagine the straight arms.
Yeah,
and all the thumping and the
and that pose when he jumps through the window and he's
Yeah.
going down. That he puts his hands out like that's real Kirby.
The Great Days, like that was that was such a good film. That was
There's so much in that film that's pure comics, though. That's because the Russo brothers knew what they were filming.
Yeah.
You know, you watch the first 10 minutes of that where Captain America's cleaning up that ship.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, well, even the narration at the start when he first meets Sam and he's running around the Washington pool is just genius.
Is that Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Because that sequence in the elevator when he dumps the shield ship or whatever it is, the flying saucer thing, that's the only bit I've seen. Should I watch all of it?
Oh, watch it all. It's a good film. It is a good film.
God.
It's not bad.
Absolutely.
After he and I'm not spoiling anything because you won't believe the visuals, you haven't seen it. But when he defeats that jet on the bridge and he jumps off the jet to land on the bridge, that upward angle of him coming down with the shield in his hand, absolutely perfect. Kirby, Buscema, Steranko, Romita, everything. I mean, it was just. I tell you, I left that movie being satisfied for the rest of my life.
I think the only thing people forget with all those films is that John Woo was doing it 20 years prior.
Yeah.
I've got my brother.
Though he did do the first Hulk movie, and that was kind of a mess.
No, that was Ang,
wasn't
it? No, it wasn't Woo. That was Ang.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah. Okay, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
Although, you know.
I thought it was John Woo.
Again, I had very low expectations, so I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But with Winter Soldier, you watch that the opening scene for me, I'll still pull it up on Disney Plus and watch it, where he comes they're coming in on to the platform or onto the ship, and he's just casually talking to Black Widow, and he hits the door to open up the plane that they're flying in and just jumps out, and somebody looks at the commander and goes, "Did he just jump out without a chute?" He said, "Yes, he did."
He does that.
Then they show him falling falling into the ocean and climbing up. It's just classic. Their first battle with Batroc. Just amazing.
I really enjoyed Civil War as well. I mean, seeing them all bundling each other, that was classic, team up stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, Civil War was essentially another Avengers film. I mean,
it was.
I
wasn't a huge fan of the plot of that one, but the fight scenes were quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, they were working off of a horrible miniseries. They're trying to get the point across to the same flavor as the comic, and it was just it was bad material to start with. They did the best with it that they ever possibly could to try to explain everybody's point of view.
No, I consider Winter Soldier to be one of the best adventure films.
Yeah,
and right up there with Raiders of the Lost Ark and all those great films.
Oh yeah.
It was just awesome from start to finish. Just wonderful. Oh,
great message. Just like
if you want to look at a great storytelling technique, if you look at what's going on that right hand page, when he pulls his mask on, right, he's putting his mask on. The next panel he's picking up his hat, and then in the last panel he's putting his hat on. If you look closely into that window, he's putting his hat on. It continues all the time.
Yep, always in motion.
Panning out, as they say with the camera.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, just amazing. Just amazing.
Speaking of amazing. Oh, that's not it.
Oh. No. What is this volume rated? This is just a special black and white.
This is the annotated Watchmen. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
There are little notes with people's notations about different things, different panels, and the like, depending upon when they want to step on it. But it's all the artwork from 12 issues, all reprinted in black and white.
Yeah.
How bloody good is that water sticking to the bottom of his?
Sticking
to the bottom of the owl ship.
Yeah.
That's great. Yep.
Talk about capturing a moment. Just that split second before the water drops back down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And the way that boy's swinging in the water because of the Yeah, the way
Yeah,
it's being affected when it's chained.
Play that funky music.
Yeah.
I suppose he wanted
Exactly.
to, like,
Posted that earlier this week.
I think he hung out in the bathtub a couple times trying to get that scene right.
I wouldn't doubt.
Maybe.
He was just in
I can see
bathtub.
Dave Gibbons, with a little sketch pad in his tub. Oh, I gotta make a.
That's probably all highly detailed in the script. I don't have that page, that script page, but I'll bet Moore went through and described that to a T. Exactly what the feel that he was out to get from this lifting off of the water.
Oh yeah, jeez.
And then to do it, right? Like, it's one thing to get the script, but then it's another to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just amazing.
And he don't let go of his hand, does he, Keith?
Yeah, exactly.
This panel here reads, some nice straightforward brutality after wading knee deep in this conspiracy weirdness for so long. Hell will be like coming home.
Is that probably a Rorschach saying that or
No, that's Daniel.
That's
talking
Daniel.
to Rorschach, yeah. And then the next page, we get a page of Tales of the Black Freighter.
Oh yeah.
The brutality and savagery that he had to deal with.
Man, oh man.
Starts, I was returned splashing noisily through the encumbering shallows, sun mulling the horizon behind me, a poker in a glass of sack glass of sack.
What does that mean?
A poker in a glass of sack. That's what it says. I could be no more than 20 miles from Davidstown. I was home. That's what it says.
Glenn or Russ, is that a particularly British phrase, a poker in a glass of sack? I don't understand.
I've never heard that.
Never heard of it.
I don't
It's
know what that
definitely
is.
a poker
That's
in a
from
glass
Tales
of
of the
sack.
Black.
Yeah, that's from Tales of the Black Freighters. That's old.
Yeah,
old
but-
speak.
1800 or
Yeah.
1700.
Huh.
Broad charcoal strokes night shaded the sky. I sat amongst
It's
skull-colored bone dunes, sharp grass clinging like hair in black, obstinate tufts. By now, Davidstown was overrun, my family slaughtered. Only revenge remained.
Wow.
Scott, I bet that poker in a glass
Very
of
brutal.
sack is probably a naval term. I bet from sort of Nelson's
Ah,
time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's my.
Well, I
feeling.
think that's
Some kind of pirate term.
Yes.
Okay, hey, I got it. He's talking about tobacco
There you go.
or cocaine or some
Yeah.
other type of drug.
Oh, you gotta love
Right.
a smoke.
Yeah, and I can believe that, Glenn, because Moore would have been the kind to have been a stickler for getting the lingo
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why it's so good.
If it's not that, then it's alcohol related.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
one of the two.
I love
So
alcohol.
some kind of contraband.
Being a pirate's the greatest.
Wow. Man, oh man.
Look at that
Lovely
bottom-
horses as well. Very simply done.
Yeah, the bottom center panel where he smashes the guy's head and it says, "Overripe, the moneylender's head bursts with a single blow, exploding as if pressurized by the guilt within." I mean, how good is that? How good is that? And then he says, "Suddenly slick, the rock shot from between my red fingers and was lost.
Oh,
The woman I strangled."
oh
This took considerably longer than I had anticipated.
Yes.
God.
It's really dark.
That's exactly why.
and the horses-
exactly
Yeah.
And
why
the horses-
Moore is an absolute master.
And the horses are like, WTF, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
WT.
It's like one of those films, like an old Peter O'Toole film, where the dialogue is just absolutely sparkling, and you're riveted by every turn of a word. It's just awesome. Oh,
On the next page, we're getting juxtaposition from modern days back to Black
Yeah.
Freighter, modern day, as the kid is reading the comic. You're going back through, and it's all symmetry, all comparison to what's happening.
You gotta love pirates. They're like the perfect vehicle to drive any story along. If they fit, they fit, and they have no morality, and it's a bloody pirate. Just it does what it does.
Our life on the ocean waves.
Yeah.
On this world, superheroes became ordinary. And so in order to get their entertainment, they turned to pirate stories.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's why the kid's got the Tales of the Black Freighter comic he can't wait to read. And now
and imagine, from the period, the pirates and stories of pirates were essentially the superheroes of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Gaudily clad and amazing adventures and
Treasure Island,
wild. And,
exactly.
Which
they
makes
were
me think
superheroes, weren't they? Antagonists, or antagonists, almost in different personas. Long John Silver, and almost like the gangsters in the 30s, they became their own persona.
Oh yeah, and if you look at the great illustrators from the turn of the 20th century, where N.C. Wyeth and Howard Pyle and all those guys, I mean, they would have. I mean, their paintings of those images, they could easily be a comic book cover. I mean, they're just all these beautiful, action-filled. Oh, just wonderful.
Oh, that's true, John. He says I'm up way too early watching old guys drool over comics. Anytime you're up this early, John, you want to be on Fridays, you're welcome. Always welcome. Just let me know.
Well, fortunately, you didn't see me completely drool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
we're all off camera to get it. So
I had a bacon sandwich and turned the mic off.
Besides, I've got my drool cup, so I
got my drool cup.
There we are.
I have a special reticule for me to drool into.
I'm just sleeping in my chair.
Yeah. Don't worry, honey. We'll wake you up when it finishes. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
The annotated points out the ad here of the Viet method on how to strengthen up, and they compare it to the
the Charles Atlas. Oh wow.
The old Charles Atlas ad. Yeah.
Love them.
The Viet method, is that again, that's gotta be some play on something.
Viet is Ozymandias.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
The perfect human. Yeah.
Oh, so I see. Pushing his own physical fitness thing. I got
right.
You. That's awesome.
Always driving the point home, always furthering the plot, always, making the point, even though you're modern day Black Freighter, modern day Black Freighter, modern day.
It's master all the way. He's dropping hints all the way through. It's just it's brilliant.
Yep.
And they have that guy or kid smoking this huge cigarette in front of that health related thing is just wonderful.
I think it's funny the two guys who come on the cycles and they're Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower.
Oh, I see.
Are they really? Where's that? Oh, here.
Well, the top left, coming into the scene, top left, other side, and then they're there.
Yeah, right
and
there.
Then they come in the middle panel, center panel, and they're talking to him, and they've got the Watchtower in the hand on the bottom left.
Oh wow!
I guess they do. Yeah.
Which is the Jehovah's Witness book.
Yeah, it is.
Talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Which is odd because they look more like Mormons.
They do, yeah. Yeah. So it's.
Well, I tell you, between Moore and Gibbons, they really, really gave you your money's worth.
Yeah,
didn't they? Yeah.
In terms of just absolutely.
Well, here we are, 40 years later, talking about it.
Yeah,
still drooling
over panel by panel. Yeah,
still drooling. Yeah,
still drooling.
Because truth to tell, I was drooling when it first came out. I wasn't a young man back. I was an old man back then. So. But man,
yeah, now it's involuntary.
Oh, Russ, you know me so well. And you.
See what you kids are missing. Come to look at the artwork. Stay for the entertainment.
Look at that guy at the top panel. Now he says, "Oh no," and she says, "Oh yes."
Yeah. Oh yes. Missed you while in prison, boys. Feels good to be back.
Oh my God.
So every time that we're looking at the last page there, every time I see Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm reminded of the a skit by, I think it's Robin Williams. And he's just like, every time, and he's in the skit and he's talking, he's like, every time Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door, I just strip down naked. And it's just like, and they're like, have you found Jesus yet? And you open the door and you're like, no, let's go find him.
I was looking in my pants, but he's not there.
Look at that. Look at what he says at the top there, Rorschach. He says, visited 2 bars before this. You may have heard ambulances. Hopefully, lucky you're here. Oh dear.
He knows how to get a question answered. For sure.
Yeah. Oh dear.
You know, it just kills me that Gibbons almost stuck exclusively to this 9-panel layout.
Yep.
I mean, for the
very intentional. Yeah.
But again, how much of that was down to Moore?
Yeah.
I
I'm sure it was all
I think a lot of it was down to Moore, to be honest, because of the way that you see the punctuation in the story and the beats and the like. So many times you see a 9-panel grid and it's swapping between scene every other panel. I think Alan Moore was completely all over that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely wanted to make it very much a frame by frame type.
Crazy genius.
And look at the way they all leave that guy on his own, and they all look at him. This bastard! I'd buy you drinks. He's selling me out.
What kind of town is this? You keep away from me. You come any closer, we're gonna get this in your goddamn squidgy face.
Damn he knows how to insult people. Goddamn squidgy face. I know it was something that people said to little babies.
Yeah.
You goddamn little squidgy face. See, it's all how you say it, not what you say.
I don't think I've ever heard that before in my life.
Squidgy faces, that's definitely a British thing.
Yeah.
And gain a little education along with everything else.
Yes.
It's good to learn.
Oh my gosh.
It's almost like we're being taught English.
Well, someone's got to.
At my age, it's about damn time I did, frankly. I've been stumbling around this language my whole life.
See,
damn independent colonies.
Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons were like the Beatles. We had to come back and show you how it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of that, I was watching Professor of Rock, and they noted he pointed out that Beatles literally went from "I Want to Hold Your Hand" to Sgt. Pepper within a period of 2 years.
Oh yeah,
just hanging together and just evolving music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely uber talented guys, and just their
unbelievably
passion for the music, and just
yep.
Even though they themselves were quoted many times as saying, their biggest influences was guys like Carl Perkins and
Elvis,
Chuck
and
Berry,
all those people.
Elvis. Yeah, I saw a picture of them with Chuck Berry and Little Little Richard this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, just amazing.
And they would never deny that.
No.
Oh no, they were completely open about all.
Oh, they were big fanboys. There's pictures of them hanging with those guys all giddy.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted nothing more than to do pure rock and roll. I mean,
You see, the thing is, what they saw was the fact that you could be a singer like Elvis and handsome and get all the girls and all the money, and you could write songs like Buddy Holly did. So they did both. They looked good and sounded good, and they also wrote the tunes as well. Elvis never wrote anything, did he? I think he got a buy credit on Hound Dog, but I don't know what his contribution was. Because if it was big, why did he stop?
Elvis was a performer more than an artist.
Because he got bigger.
Well, that too. Literally.
He did get bigger.
Yeah, but Kirby got big and he didn't stop drawing, did he?
No. I mean, physically bigger.
By 78,
movies, didn't he?
By 78, those sequins were popping off of his.
Yeah.
I think he was dead by 78, wasn't he?
This guy works down chip shop
right around there.
77 he died.
Yeah.
Oh, was it 77?
Yeah.
Well, the buttons were popping then.
Yeah, certainly were.
As well as brain cells. Man, oh man.
Getting information.
Arse.
Onward we go.
Jesus.
It's Ted Fleming.
Well, is that who I am? Russ, is that another stab?
No, not at all. It's
With my
I don't
cough,
stab
with
at
my cold,
you.
I'm Mr. Fleming. Fleming.
I don't. No, Fleming. Bob. Is it Bob Fleming?
Bob Fleming, yeah.
Bob Fleming was a character on a comedy show that used to be acceptable in the UK before you couldn't have a sense of humour anymore, and all the sense of humour police came out. And
sense of humor, police.
And he used to do this. What was that program we had back in the day in the 70s? It was down the woodshed or something.
Yeah. It was like a takeoff of Attenborough as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was. There used to be this guy with like white beard, white hair, and he'd sit in like a woodshed and talk to you. Like, I was only little.
Was it Rolf Harris?
It looked a bit like Rolf Harris, and it was obviously, I think it was a countryside program, but it would start off with him.
I know what you mean.
And that's what Bob Fleming was, this impersonation of. And he'd sit there and he'd be talking about sheep. He'd be like, all right, I'm here on the farm and I'm talking about sheep. And he'd start coughing. And the production crew would go, okay, Ted, we'll start again. He goes, yeah, all right. And it'd end up that all it was just coughing. And halfway through his coughing, he'd go, arse! Like that as he was coughing. And it was literally, it was like one funny skit. And it was the same thing every week.
Wasn't it on the Fast Show?
Yeah, it was a fast show, yeah.
Oh,
and
my
it was
God.
just the same shit every week, but you just laughed at it because
Go on YouTube
so
and watch the Fast Show. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah. It's very funny. Well, yeah, they might not get it.
Well,
we can divide.
We can only show them. We can only take the horse to water, Russ.
We can only show them the way.
See if we can't wrap our little pea American brains around it. So,
all right, keep that up. I'm gonna.
Oh, you said it. You said it.
No,
you let's keep this up. I'm going to bring up the North Sea Empire again, and then start talking.
Oh, here we go. Bloody Canadians. What can you do?
Well, speaking of Canadians, I think we've all enjoyed the occasional red-green show, which I thought was absolutely genius.
Red-green show.
There you go. What's that? Don't get
it's a Canadian export.
That's something you need to YouTube.
Who's that?
I'm sure there's plenty of red green up there.
Who's that guy on YouTube? The former network producer or whatever it is. The guy with the glasses. Have you seen him? He used to do is it the Kids Outside or the Kids Upstairs or something? That was a show in the
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall. He
Yeah.
apparently was part of Kids in the Hall. Former network executive opinion or something. That's what he does on his channel, and he does reviews and stuff. He's very, very funny, and that was all Canadian.
Well, red green is very Canadian male, and it's a very it's a funny masculine show.
If she doesn't find you, if she doesn't find you handsome, at least you can be handy.
Yeah, women can't find you handsome. At least you can be handy. And he talks about the number one tool in your toolbox is duct tape. And he does. It's pure. It's very Canadian. And you can tell he's red green. He's got a pair of suspenders on. One suspender is red. The other suspender is green.
That does sound good.
It's very much a boys club lodge that he has. And it all focuses around the lodge meeting, where at the end they have like the men's mantra, and it's all, she's right, the woman's right, all of this, and all of these guys all get together and bitch about how hard it is to be a man and married. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. It has a touch of that kind of British madness about its humor.
It sounds like it does, yeah.
It's very Canadian, though. Very Canadian.
It's very much like spending a day in like a logging community.
Yeah, because very much like that. Because he'll show you how to make different things using real oddball stuff and a lot of duct tape.
Oh yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
And the skits are very. There's a little bit of Benny Hill in it.
Oh God.
just a little, just that kind of vein of humor. A lot of slapstick here and there, but the guy is, hey man, it's tell the wife I'm going to be home a little late today because we've got important business to discuss, like which beer we're going to be drinking. That kind of stuff.
That is
Just
important.
Very classic.
Very.
It's definitely a far cry from Bob and Doug McKenzie and the.
Oh, that's just you.
Well, that was kind of a parody, a lot more than Red Green. Red is just telling you what it's like to be a guy.
Yeah.
You know,
we got
Red
what's
Green's
his
very
name?
Canadian. Right? It's very, like naturalist.
The Rockers. It was like not Bill and Ted. Who was it? The guy who did Man of Mystery.
Thanks for the invitation, Randy. Anytime.
I've no idea.
You're always welcome on the show. We can always talk comics, even though we're talking Red Green right now. So and TV.
He was Canadian. He is Canadian.
Well, I was always disappointed that we could never get enough of what I believed was the he was in Young Frankenstein.
Mel Brooks.
The Igor.
Gene Wilder.
Marty Feldman.
Marty Feldman.
Didn't he have his own show?
He did.
Got nobody, and nobody loves me.
He said there was on his show. I remember this when I was a kid.
That sounds like Jimmy Durante.
That's what he did in Young Frankenstein. He was one of the heads next to the bottles, and he's walking around, and it's going 6 months in a bottle, 3 months in a bottle, 2 months in a bottle, and there is his face with his eyes either way. Ain't got nobody, nobody loves me. Brilliant.
No, Feldman was genius. He was amazing. I remember seeing one skit from his show where the title of the skit was "A Day in the Life of a Professional Stuntman," and it shows him leaving his apartment by going through the window, jumping down under another building, then jumping onto a train, and then flipping over some taxis or something like that. It was just amazingly, hilarious.
He used to spend a lot of time with the Footlights and with the Monty Python crew. So Mike Myers was the guy I was trying to remember.
Okay.
When they did him and his mate did they were Rock On Garth or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, that's it.
Yeah,
Wayne's World, yeah, Wayne's
out
World.
of their basement. Yeah.
What's his name?
Party on,
dude.
Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. So that came over with MTV in the 90s.
Yeah.
Shwing.
That was a public access. That was a parody of a public access show. For a while there, the cable companies had to allow local programming, and you got a lot of material that was like that.
Oh, I wish they'd do that still.
Of that kind of show. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if they did that still?
As a service to the public, they allowed people to come in and do interviews and, do shows out of their basement, that kind of stuff.
Prior to YouTube, they realized that actually it would be more entertaining than the programming, so they stopped it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at the lighting on that.
Getting rid of the evidence here.
Amazing. And the fact that he framed it basically with the point of reference of that log on the beach.
Yeah, and that's in the page before that as well.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
Yep.
Boom.
As the ship pulls out, moves out.
I love the way the drawing that the girl did earlier washes ashore at the bottom.
Where here?
That's quite poignant, isn't it?
Next page.
Yeah.
After the explosion. Next page. Right down at the bottom, the drawing that she did in the previously.
On the right hand
page.
Panel 7.
The last panel on
panel 7.
After the explosion.
Under the log.
No.
Under the log. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. The drawing sheet.
That washes up to shore actually because it comes out.
That's horrible, isn't it? Yeah. Very poignant.
Talk about using the power of the panel and the panel gutters showing time elapsing.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in the whole book. In all of them.
You see the moon dropping here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So by the time, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. But yet the log, the driftwood stump here stays the same.
Yeah. I mean,
Even though time has
this
passed.
whole series is
Oh, yeah.
is a master class in storytelling.
That's why we're going through it issue by issue. Yep.
Yeah.
Another great bit of inking here. Just phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
In order to pop out imagery, drop back the background. And in color, it is just it pops it out.
It's muted.
Delineates it.
Do we know who did the color on the
John Higgins. Yeah, we've talked about him quite a bit. Yeah.
If you look at that right hand page, the top tier, middle panel where he's going through the window, that's so far is best served with the color, because you can't really see but when you see the color version, you can see that he's inside the
just half the coattail is through. Just
you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
It
Look at
is.
that look at the reflection of that desk as well on the floor in the center panel.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
The center tier, I mean, sorry,
Oh.
the center tier. It's just fantastic.
Well, that's the cleanliness of Viet's office.
Yeah.
You know, everything's crystal. You can eat off the floor.
Man. Well, it's interesting how, like in that last panel, you see just a minuscule detail on that kind of vase sitting there. You can see the white dots showing through in the black and white, but it's all obliterated in the color.
Yeah.
And as an artist myself, I'm always fascinated by seeing what gets revealed in the black and white stage and what has been kind of obscured with color.
That's why it's been so much fun to go through this and like this in black and white.
Oh yeah.
We kept so much more of the work.
See, that's why I paint my color, because these are all flat colors, and like you say, it loses a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hand paint it, I think you tend to spend more attention to give more attention to it. That's just me. That's just me.
Definitely.
We have a great succession of panels here. Pulling up information on the computer.
All those 80s, 90s computers that, it's so funny to see these now.
Such modern tech.
Yeah, boy, state of the art back then. Man.
Insanity would seem only motive. Someone wishes to destroy world, removes heroes to prevent their intervention. Someone terminally ill, perhaps. Moloch, better suspect than previously apparent. Pity deceased. Unless plot from beyond the grave. Prearranged? No, too fantastic. Egyptian decor, coloring logic. Recognized dog-headed bust. Anubis. Watcher over dead. Whole culture death fixated. Obsessively securing their tombs against intruders. This is Rorschach reasoning things out as Daniel Night Owl is going through the computer and finding evidence.
Jeez.
That computer's great because you can see that black square blinking like the old computers when then Space Invaders on it.
Blinking cursors.
Yeah, and that tennis game that used to hit both sides of the screen.
Again, some great lighting here.
Yeah,
off of the computer screen,
and on the bottom panel as well when the owl shit comes up.
Yeah, yep, and that really pops out in color as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy, beautiful.
Yeah, we said this over the weeks about the coloring. I think a lot of it is the printing process rather than the actual John's actual coloring palette. Yeah. I think it's the process.
Yeah,
that's why they went through and recolored it on the later versions.
Yeah. Did they get him to do it?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, to have Higgins redo it?
Tank Ferret in the house. Hail Russ and Dave.
Yo, Tank.
I love how the only thing that is the same is the midground, the computer. And even then, that's not even as static as it seems.
It's true.
No, you probably redrew it a bunch of times.
With the ever-changing text. Yeah.
Well, hello to you too, Tank Ferret. Thanks for saying hi. You
Is that-
bastard.
Looks like a Mac. It's an old
Yeah.
Mac.
It's the same. It's the exact same computer. It's just that the foreground changes as Daniel is typing and trying to figure out the password.
And the thing that gets you is that I would assume that Dave Gibbons he had drawn all of that as original art in each panel. I don't think he would have photostated or I don't know. It just seems to me like
you can see the wobble on the top left-hand corner. They're all different, I think.
Yeah.
So I think probably what he's done is he's laid it down on a light box so he gets the dimensions exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because it's important that each panel is redone. Yeah.
But he makes it different.
Yeah.
Even though it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. The inking on that keyboard looks almost exactly the same.
Well, if you look at the top of the computer, you can
format.
see it in the center one. The top of it is different than the one on the right.
Yeah.
The top, you can see more of the top of it.
Yeah.
It's like he's sort of gone an inch up.
Yeah.
To show the ones in the Rorschach in the background as well. And the mummy in the cupboard is different as well.
It'd be fairly
changes
straightforward.
the camera angle here. Yeah.
It'd be fairly straightforward though to photocopy some of it and reissue it to each panel, and then so that you make sure you've got everything in the right place, because it's very important that these panels are the same.
Yeah, it ties into that consistent storytelling.
Yeah, so I think there may be a mixture in there.
I cannot but wonder
especially on the keyboard,
if we would ever be able to see one of those really high quality reproductions like those oversized editions like IDW puts out.
Yeah,
it'd be great to see if we could see edges of stats or whatever,
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the keyboard on panels 4, 5, and 7, you can see that the keyboard's been done independently each time.
I think he's probably just drawn one, laid it over, and changed it a bit.
Yeah,
but still
on the light box. He's done the
he's done it on the light box,
right? And then he's just changed it while he was doing it.
I think it's light box. Yeah,
but it's not exactly the same.
Still, man. And who did Gibbons do the lettering too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
man,
buddy's so good.
What a body of work.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it takes us like a year to get through a single panel.
Yeah, that's right. It takes him 6 months to read it.
Yeah.
But that's what the show's about, is to analyze these things. And if you're coming into the game, it's worth analyzing the greats.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should be analyzing. As an artist, you should be analyzing this. You should be analyzing Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
You should be, should be analyzing, any of the Impressionist artists as well. You should be doing all these things. You should be taking it all in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But what's special about comics in particular, analyzing it, is because obviously it's very appropriate for what you're trying to do.
Is there a light box of the classic tracing and graphite paper with anchor markings? Yeah. Yep. Sure, you're right.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
Man. I know I can tell that. See, the producing of this comic would be for me, for my sensibilities doing comics, it would completely defeat me. I do not believe that I could pull off this type of.
Well, you can't let it defeat you. The idea is to learn from it.
Yeah, and but I picture myself, if I were to try and do this, it just would be completely beyond my sensibilities. I appreciate it and I've learned from it, but man, I'm in awe of the craftsmanship.
Oh yeah, absolutely on that.
Now, don't you love it? This first tall vertical panel in the reflection glass of the building. The other buildings reflected are all white against this black, and it's just wow, such an effect.
And I love the way in the background he's not tried to clarify the outline of the building. He's just let it go to black in the sky.
Yeah, let it blend into the night sky. Yeah.
Yep.
Just
with the recognizable Chrysler building in the back, or that's Empire. No, it's Chrysler building in the background.
Building,
We've talked about this earlier. The simplicity and like economy of line, and not drawing over or too much or giving too much information, or perfection being when there's nothing left to take away. And that's exactly what it is in that one panel.
Oh yeah, amazingly so.
Simplicity,
because you can see how brilliant Gibbons is, because even with the wealth of detail the entire thing offers up, if you look at any one given drawing in any given panel, it's a relatively simple item. He doesn't doesn't hyper render every rivet and everything, so
it's only got so much space too.
Yeah,
but that I keep saying, to repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. It's like any of the greats will all do exactly the same thing. Economy of line. It's only what needs to be on the page. However detailed it may be, however rendered in their particular style, it's only what is needed to make it work.
Yeah,
I'll tell you another another advantage of this strip that Gibbons did is the fact that he is the letterer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's not got the letterer he's not second guessing any illustration, and the compositions, I would imagine, take into account the words that are going to go on the panel.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
The whole thing, and that's why Dave Gibbons is so great. We said this before. That he's a fantastic letterer as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the bastard's good at everything,
and not just because of his obviously skill of putting of the letter forms, but the placing of the dialogue boxes and the narration, and just keeping it all working harmoniously with the art.
And that's already been, as we've seen in the thumbnails, that's already been figured out in the thumbnail stage. He knows exactly where everything's going before he does the final work.
Yeah, and it's just brilliant forethought and execution. It's just out of this world. And that's why any stories I draw these days, I always insist that if I'm not doing the lettering, I want to kind of supervise who is.
Yeah.
Because I have had so much work that I turn in, and some of my nicest little bits just get slathered over by these.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what people think when they're lettering and what they mask. The bits they mask. So they'll mask a bit, and it's like you've left a gap. You've left an area in the panel which is perfect for where you can put they don't use it.
Yeah,
and it's like this bit of background that you can see, and they've put it over the like a hand that's gesturing somewhere, and you think, why did you do that? Yeah,
and you've got this little part of the beach with just a few pebbles on it, and they put the word balloon right over the guy's chest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's another reason. I mean, like when I did my own Death Can Save Us books, because I was in control, I got the lettering done over the pencils.
Yeah.
So I knew that I would leave space, and I left roughly space, and then I got the lettering done over the top of the pencils. Then I edited the lettering and changed where it was going to be, because there were places where I just thought, well, why have you put the panel there? Even good letterers, quality, solid letterers, as an artist and as basically the art director on the book, I'd look at it and go, no, that's in the wrong place. What's it doing there?
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, if you do it at pencils, especially when I'm using digital pencils, it means that I can swap the panel a bit. If I've got a bit more text and it needs to be there, it's part of it, then I can say, okay, well, I can reduce things down before I go ahead and ink them in the real world. And that's very helpful to do.
One of the best letterers, at least in American comics, is Tom Orchakowski, because he did almost all of the X-Men, and I mean, he did almost every book Marvel ever put out at one point, but I've talked with him over the years many times, and he is so conscientious about not covering up good bits of the panel
Yeah.
And also making suggestions to the editor that, this dialogue would be better if we split it up into 2 balloons versus 1. And, he's just meticulously gifted. Just wonderful.
We're on issue 10, and we're already telegraphing the ending here.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
Rorschach, they're about to go up to Antarctica or Antarctica or the Arctic, one of them. And Rorschach figures they're not coming back, so he mails his journal.
Yeah.
And you see that in the next the page after that too, where the journal is mailed in. And the postal system working a lot faster than what they do in real life. It's right there. Goes to the newspaper office and is put on the crackpot pile.
Yeah.
His journal is. Yeah.
I just wonder how they foretell how
More
important.
great. Just telegraph that. Just incidentally. Yeah. But at the time, it looks like just an incidental detail.
Yeah.
Here's Rorschach's journal is there. A kid goes, looks at it and just puts it on the crackpot pile and leaves it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Look at the openness of that owl ship on those clouds.
Very much so.
No,
That looks like a Mobius.
I was just going to say that's very Mobius here in there too. Though in the colors, you don't get that. You don't get that opening because you've got that dark blue up there.
Yeah.
You don't quite get the starkness here, the owl ship moving.
Yeah, I would have made that dark blue much lighter blue.
Yep.
I bet that's the printing process again,
That could be.
Yeah.
The other prints on that could be completely different from what that looks.
Look at the way it's dropping down in the center panel as well. Mm-hmm. The owl ship's dropping down, the angle of it. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Oh. It really is. And in the bottom panel, they're flying in front of those large Arctic ice shelves. Right?
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
It pops out more in color. So you lose a lot of the detail in the water. It's a solid blue again.
Blue who?
Blue who?
Look at that.
Oh, man.
That's a great page, isn't it?
It is a great page.
It lands, yeah. Feel it skidding along the ice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. A little bit of Tintin.
Yeah.
Hergé's Tintin there. That open snowscapes and everything.
A lot of callback to a lot of classic stuff. So.
I like the way that in the bottom panel where it's landing, Rorschach is behind Daniel rather than taking the seat on the other side.
Yeah.
Because you probably wouldn't be able to see him from that angle.
Right.
At least being jostled around a bit. Well, Daniel's steering.
But yeah, it's clever placement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then here. That pops out a lot more in the colors too.
Again, that's the same. It looks like the same panel.
Yeah.
Just changing the snow and everything. It's great.
So much detail lost here.
If you look on the color where it's just come to a halt with those two panels, you can see the limitations of the press, can't you? The way that purple goes into the blue, which is a shame. But I bet on the recolored, I bet it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's amazing.
Getting out the owl scooters.
Kind of reminds me just a touch of that the Great Scene Winter Soldier, where Cap and Bucky go to that winter fortress where they find what's his name, and then
Baron Nemo.
Yeah,
Zemo. Yeah,
Zemo.
Yeah. And the fact that he and then afterwards when Zemo tries to get away and the Black Panther's out there in the snow and captures him, it has that desolate, snowscape feel to it. For some reason, this reminds me of that.
Yeah.
It has that kind of feel to it.
Where are we at here? We're still there. Yep. All right.
Oh. fingers.
Last page.
Oh,
That's great how his winter outfit makes him look really like an owl. That's just awesome.
So it's something you don't get from the film, but this is really sort of like he's really sort of taking a piss out of Batman here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Get my owl scooter and my
the bat shield and all this
my
stuff.
bat shield and my Arctic bat suit.
Yeah.
it's awesome.
From out of his utility belt.
For all the toys out there, for all the toy
Great
manufacturers, I've now got an Arctic suit as well.
Exactly. Outside in the distance, a wild cat did growl. The two riders were approaching, and the wind began to howl. Bob Dylan.
That's amazing. Dylan would have that lyric. It's just awesome. Wow.
And the clock slowly ticks closer to midnight.
Oh. Something else.
And followed up by a few corporate notes on the sale of the, speaking of fantastic toys, a great toy line.
Oh,
and
God.
the nostalgia perfume as well.
Oh, the ghost of you cleans. Oh. Jeez, that's amazing. Look that how the ghost of you clings. Oh, it's just it's tremendous.
I like the model owl ship as well, and that cutaway where you can see inside. That's fantastic, isn't it?
It is. It's great. I want that toy set.
Boobastis.
Awesome. Didn't somebody produce some of that stuff in years later?
No, they might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, a reminder of how close we are to the end.
Yes.
Damn. It just
Great
keeps
stuff.
hitting you. Keeps hitting you every aspect of it.
Oh yeah, it's just amazing. So that's why we're doing this.
That's amazing.
Next episode, chapter 11. Things get a little closer to the climax. So,
we're going to talk about climaxing. I'll definitely be here.
And again, we'll pick that up next week. Folks, you've been watching us going over Watchmen annotated.
Watchmen.
It's a great volume.
Watchmen? We do.
Especially if you're in this business, you want that to, I'm sure it's still available through Amazon, or if you're lucky enough to catch a copy at Ollie's or wherever. Well worth your time. Plus, we've been going over also Watching the Watchmen by Dave Gibbons, all of his notes and background material there on that to find details of the series and, of course, the original issue as well. So we deeply appreciate you being here and putting up with us. We hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as we have. So,
make sure you
Scott,
bring your drink up.
Scott, tell folks how they can find you.
I'm hanging around Facebook all the time, and I've been doing a lot of conventions this season. I plan to be at the Chicago Fan Expo in August and the Fan Expo in Toronto in later August, as well as the Grand Rapids Comic-Con coming up in November, and a few odds and ends things in between from here and now. So,
what about that really cool Comic-Con at the start of August? You gonna do that?
Oh, I've yet to situate that or get that figured out with the guy there. I contacted him some months back, but I'm gonna have to get back on top of having him see if he can wiggle some space out for me, which I believe
Sue should be there.
Yeah.
So Sue's planning on being there for that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Setting up.
Oh, also, July 15th, I'll be down at the Hall of Heroes in Elkhart. And on July 22nd, I'll be over in Grand Haven for the one-day Kogan Con. So,
well, there's a one-day show going on at Hartford at the library there that I plan on being at.
Yes, they invited me, but I couldn't make it. But it's worth going to. There's a lot of great things going on. So
yeah. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter under Bandit and Ricochet. I'm gonna just throw my camera up here. And you can find my stuff there. I do 3D art and sculptures and stuff like that, 3D models. I'm also working on a comic book recently, where I've been doing the 3D art panels and stuff, or doing the panels layouts in 3D. And it's basically a story about necromancers and all that wonderful stuff. But if you need lessons in 3D, or want to add 3D layouts to your 2D art, or want to study 3D at all, I offer lessons for that. And so find me on Twitter.
Excuse me, Whiskey. How are you going to finish that off? Is it going to be just in these 3D figures?
No, this is just for the layout for the artist and the.
I see.
So there's a guide for them to work with, right? So they have something to go by, and they can get translate the scene.
Nice.
And then,
Cool.
Yeah, basically that's it. So a bunch of 3D stuff. You can find me on Twitter, Bandit and Ricochet. And if you need something made in 3D, or if you need action figure, any kind of 3D model whatsoever, just send me a message and I'll get checked up.
Right.
Excellent.
Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me in the pages of Doctor Who magazine this month, Batman in Europe. Also, my own book, Only Death Can Save Us. You can pick that up at my website or on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. You can sign up for my Instagram. I put up a piece of artwork every day, whether it's archived or brand new. And also have an email list if you want to find out what's upcoming from myself and Arrow Comics. And you can obviously get all my internet, all my social media links from there as well. That's at russleach.com. And I've got something to show you if you want to have a quick look.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
We've got some
Shadow Kingdom
pages from the Shadow Kingdom going on here.
The Gold Project.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's coming together really nicely. Pages are looking good.
Show the chapter page just to blow
the chapter page. Okay.
Blow Scott's mind. Yeah.
Oh,
nice!
Isn't that amazing?
So I've decided to put the chapter headings in the panel itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one's in the sky. In the first panel, we've got our first chapter heading is there. So a king comes riding.
King comes riding.
And then the second chapter in there, and I'll work a way of getting it into the third one as well. But yeah, it's coming on. It's coming on okay. I'm really pleased with what's going on.
I think okay is a vast understatement here. This is looking pretty darn tremendous.
I've kind of found myself a little sort of, because I was looking at all the old Conan and Cull stuff, the Alcala stuff, because I'm no, that's not me. I'm obviously, but it's still very inspirational. And the Ernie Chan stuff is actually a little bit closer, because I'm going to put a wash on this afterwards after I've inked it.
Yeah.
So just looking through all that and kind of getting some inspiration from those things, but finding my own style in the whole thing. And I think I've found something now. So I'm looking forward to this when it does get done. Although we've got another 40 pages yet. So
yes, sir, you do.
All right, no,
it's looking marvelous. So
yeah, oh my gosh, is it ever?
It just gets crazier from here. So
yeah.
Now, when you're going to be doing the wash, Russ, are you going to have it all be one temperature of a wash, or you can have warm or cool washes?
No, it's going to be what we're going to do, or what I plan to do as sort of like the co-art director on this, because it's me and Randy together.
Right.
Is what I'd like to do is for our first, because it's going to be 2 books. Yeah. And the 2 books are eventually going to be put together. We want to make an artisan edition where it's just black and white.
Okay.
So the black and white gets shown. But for the first 2 books that we're going to put out, we're going to crowdfund them once they're done. We're thinking about doing the wash and then putting a flat color over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just get kind of that sort of graphic novel sort of feel for the shorter versions, and then for when we put them all together, it becomes an art book.
Wow.
So that's just a test. So that's
hang on.
that's a test on what I'm going to do.
Wash, yeah.
With the wash.
And that would be actually kind of smart. You're going to do a flat color on top under that, right?
So just flat color, no effects, nothing, just a flat color over the top of the fact that the wash has been done.
Which is a good use of the tonal quality you have with the wash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully.
Not let that have to be carried by the color.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. So it's definitely a passion project for the two of us. So there's a lot of effort going into it. Yeah.
Well, I bet that's just looking really cool.
It's good. I've been fortunate. I've had to stop a couple of times. So like I had to stop for a month to do Doctor Who. So I did this one for Doctor Who. And there we go. So let's get the here we go.
Oh, nice.
It came out quite nicely.
Oh yeah.
There's a nice page with there we go. That page is quite nice.
Oh,
Cyberman.
Very nice.
And actually that could, because I kind of changed my style up slightly for that, and that was kind of like a precursor to what I was doing on the Shadow Kingdom. So it's kind of like a development of what's going on. And then when I get to Only Death Can Save Us, book 3, I've got a meta change anyway. The story actually suggests that the whole world changes. So I'm going to change the style up on the art. So there's this real jar. So the art up until now has been very much inspired by Kirby and Buscema and you know 70s stuff. You know, like so it's got a more blocky feel to it. And then I'm going to go into something a bit more detailed, like I've been doing with this. So.
You got to be excited about this, Randy.
Oh yeah, very much.
Man, I can't imagine.
I'm dreading having to letter it. That's
we'll talk to Gabe.
That's my next concern.
Gibbons,
yeah.
You know?
So I'm sitting there looking at the artwork, going, there's a lot of hard narration on that page.
That's
why you're going to letter it in the
Michigan, right?
Yeah. That's why you're going to letter it in pencil, Randy. So if I give you all the pencil pages and you letter it, then if we need to make changes, if we need to adapt things, we can do that.
Okay.
Nice. That's going to be very nice.
Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
I'm just going to go and resign now. I haven't seen that. Right. You can get me on all the usual social media things and all that kind of thing, but you can get me at New Haven Publishing and Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all the good bookstores with this book, which details my trips to see Jack Kirby a couple of times in the late 80s and early 90s. Coming soon is the second edition of Hatch, which is my creation, and it's just a crazy guy who encounters strange things like pyramids and stuff, and it's a cartoon book. It's a funny book, and thank you. And I just it's all hand painted, all hand colored. I just like doing it. I just like drawing.
Oh yeah, very cool.
And you can also get me in. Thank you. You can also get me in the Comics Unlimited magazine, which I publish. But I produce 100-page book about comics and articles. Russ has done a couple of articles for me. Randy's done one, and I'm still waiting for that latest one. Randy, you better be quick. And this should be coming out shortly. I'm about
quiet.
I'm halfway through the next issue 13, and you can get that on Amazon. And you can get all my other stuff, magazines and books and science fiction books and whatever I write on Amazon as well.
Do you have any more copies of Cranky Beyond that number 1? You can show?
Say again?
Do you have any more different issues besides that number 1 that you show?
Oh,
of Cranky?
Of Comics Unlimited.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Comics Unlimited. I'm sorry, Cranky was.
I've got. I'll get number 2. I've not got the others. Just let me.
They're all available over on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get them. We've got this one here. That's this number 2.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Another one. Okay, very nice.
Okay, I got. Nope, I thought I had one up here, but I guess not.
Oh, I'm looking for the one with me in it.
Get that.
Oh boy.
So it's a good magazine. I say it myself, but it's a good magazine. 100 pages.
It's great.
Talking about comics, all the stuff we like. I do all the design work of the pages.
All kinds of different comics too.
I even write some of the articles, you know. And
lovely.
It's got to fill up the pages if somebody's late on their deadline.
Yeah, that's right. So you know,
would it be possible that I could ship some ne'er-do-well material your way?
Yes, I think we could talk about that. Yeah, we can do something. It's just a great magazine, even though I'm biased, but it is a good magazine.
It is a good magazine. That's great.
Yeah,
and it's beautifully designed by me. You know,
as it should be. By God,
it's stunning to think how well
again. Yeah.
it's designed. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, check it out. That's on Amazon. So check it out.
Excellent.
And just as a final thing, if you want a DVD of me talking to Jack in his studio, you can get that through me. So if you want that, message me, and I can sort that out for you.
That'd be awesome.
And if you go looking up on YouTube, there aren't a whole lot of interviews on tape with Jack. So
yeah, I've never. I don't know whether. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I've never seen any film of anybody talking with Jack in his studio, which is what this is. About 45 minutes of me talking with him. And he's talking about his life and stuff like that. And it's really interesting.
Oh my God.
Really interesting. You can get that through me.
Oh, and real quick, Randy, one thing I forgot to mention, though, one of my projects I got going is when I came back from Heroes Con in North Carolina with amongst the hundreds of other artists there, I did secure a pretty big job here.
Whoa.
It's a 24 by 36 of the Avengers and the JLA facing off some menace.
Cool.
This is
Look at that. Yeah.
I started doing the inking and
awesomeness.
All those blue figures are going to be the final pencil places. And it's just, talk about a fanboy dream. It's just one of those incredible, it's for a personal collector. And, you just, you pray for those kind of commissions.
You'll have to come back more often and show us the progress.
Yeah, show us progress. Yeah.
Yes, I should do that.
Folks, again, I want to thank you so much for watching an episode of Comics by Night as we covered Watchmen 10. Next week, we will cover Watchmen 11 and then 12. And then who knows where we'll go from there. If you go back to the Indie Comics Network, you'll see the Comics by Night archived. We've done a lot of other artists and major work as well. And we hope that you'll go over there and enjoy those as much as we enjoy bringing them to you. If you get a chance, swing by aerocomics.store and take a look at some of my work. I do a book myself called HeroBot Zero. That's a 3-foot-tall giant robot. It's a fun book as he fights off giant menaces to save a city. Issue 2 even has a Scott Roseman cover on it.
Yeah, I heard there was a great cover somewhere as well.
Better and better.
Yeah, the great Eric Hodson colored that as well. Eric is currently doing a book for Aero Comics called AR13L, The Little Mermaid. So go over to Fund My Comic right now and take a look at that. While you're over at Fund My Comic, take a look at The Fool, because it's not going to be up there for much longer. We're going to pull that campaign here within the next couple of days, because the print file is going into to the printer and the books will be available shortly. But also over at aerocomics.store, you can pick up a copy of Paragon, which is a superhero book that I wrote with artwork by J.R. Harris. I'm really happy with that product, as well as Calico of Shard. That's a high fantasy book that I designed and did with artwork by C. Michael Lanning. So go over there and take a look at that. Again, Fool over at The Fool over at fundmycomics.com. It's in its final days. We just on Nerd Bacon moved quite a few copies of that in the campaign. So we're real happy about that. Yep, flip the bird. We will be back Sunday morning, probably talking about funny books. I'm not sure.
Probably not.
Who knew?
or other stuff. Probably we'll get around to who knows what as our conversation does wander. That's Sunday Funny, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on the Indie Comics Network. Make sure you go over there and check that out as well. We'll be back next week at 5 a.m. Friday morning for another episode of Comics by Night.
We might even talk about comics.
We might even talk about comics. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get there. So Scott and Whiskey and Russ and Glenn, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate your
pleasure
and your contributions. It's always fun to do this. We love doing it because we love what we do. So make sure you go, if you get a chance, swing by your local retailer, hit your comic convention, look through all of those boxes, because you never know what great treasures you're going to find there. It just
Absolutely.
lots of great reading. Don't let if you're tired of the modern comics as you find in the retail shops, go through his back issues and take a good hard look. You'll find a lot of great
100
stuff.
years.
Never ending treasure trove.
Never ending.
There are more comics out there than you could possibly ever read your entire life. So it's worth a trip every time.
It's that morning in the whiskey in the chat.
Remember, folks, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
Yeah. We'll see everyone soon.
See ya.
Take care, everyone. We'll have a few bumps as we go out the door. Thanks again for watching. Deeply appreciate you. See you next week. See you Sunday morning, 9 a.m. for Sunday Funnies. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Obviously, Scott took off. Had to go back to bed, I guess.
See you, Scott.
Here we are. A partial list of the Indie Comics Network. We added a bunch more shows. It's crazy. Getting bigger all the time.
Go watch.
Stay tuned to that. Brian K. Morris is coming in. That's kind of surprised. Here we go.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comics Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
Certainly is all gravy.
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
That's why. Fuck them, that's why. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
See ya. Now on Sunday mornings, longtime independent comics creator Randy Zimmerman brings to you a podcast that talks about the lighter and more whimsical side of comics, the fun side of comics. That's right. Sunday Funnies is back Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on the Indie Comics Network on YouTube. Check it out. Special guests, great comic talk, good times. See you there. Arrow Comics is proud to present to you the fast-paced vigilante justice as only... what is this guy dressed as? This is the Fool. This is the Fool from Arrow Comics with great artwork by Chris Tyson, colors by Patrick Gamma, written and created by Randy Zimmerman. This guy runs around the city using practical joke weapons to fight crime, and the cops just want to get him off the street before he hurts somebody. You need to read this book. Available in its own individual campaign or part of Arrow Bundle number 2. Arrow Bundle number 1 is also available with the Fool campaign over at funmycomic.com. Check it out.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
How can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody out. Yeah. There we go. Where is it? Of course, I need to coordinate this a little better. Here we go. See you, everybody.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.